Hello and welcome to EV Review Ireland. My name is Derek Riley and you are joining us as part of our 30-day challenge. And this is day 27. And we are back with another interview. And tonight it is Jim Power from Powers Insurance, but better known to the EV community as EV Insurance Ireland. Jim is a partner of the channel, while EV Insurance Ireland is a partner of the channel. Jim, how are you?
Good, Derek. Thanks for having me.
Not at all. Jim, when I'm selecting partners for the channel, I always try and make sure that it's of benefit to the people who are viewing the content. And when we started chatting back in the day, and fair play to you, you were proactive, you reached out to me and said, we'd love to do something together that there'd be a mutual benefit. And when I looked into EV Insurance Ireland, I felt for sure that's the case. Will you let the viewers know a bit about yourself and about EV Insurance Ireland and where it all began?
Right. Okay, Derek. Yeah. Thanks again for having me. Who am I? My own name is Jim Power. Power Insurance Brokers. We're a family business. Um, I'm second generation, so we've been around since 1957. So it's a long time. So I suppose in the last maybe 10 or 15 years, we've kind of developed into more niche areas of different areas of the insurance business. And how insurance came was we, myself and my wife, have an electric vehicle, and we have it a number of years. And I found when we looked to get insurance in the Irish market, it was very tricky. Even as a broker, and we deal with pretty much all the companies in the market, we found that companies didn't really understand EVs. They didn't. Some wouldn't quote for them. Some were quoting crazy money. Then we looked for when I was looking at the cover, then there was exclusions on some of the things like the cables and also conditions attached to recovery, which was something we were aware of. We've a kind of older Nissan Leaf, and at the time, I suppose we were a bit more aware of range anxiety and the fact it was the second car in the family. So we kind of looked at these things and said, listen, there's no real policy on the market for it. So
And when
so
you
that's kind of where it developed from.
because and to the point, and we were speaking briefly before we started recording, it's an industry where when somebody gets a good quote, they don't tell anybody sometimes, but if somebody gets a quote that they think is a bit more expensive than it should be, they're on all the Facebook groups, they're on social media. What I found is that the EV groups, the Facebook groups like the EV owners, Irish EV owners association, people will put up, I'm looking for a quote, or I'm after being quoted, where else will I go? And a lot of people will be recommending yourself. But then we'll have some people that will put up, I'm after getting a crazy quote from a certain brokerage, and they don't understand the reasons behind it. Like you're saying, the cable cover or the recovery cover.
Mm.
I suppose the advice you're giving people would be make sure they're reading the small print.
Yeah. I think some people will find that there might have been an internal combustion car under existing policy, and then they go to change to their electric car, and it very much depend on the insurance company you're talking to as to whether they'll accept the changeover. Whether we've seen a lot of companies won't quote for Teslas, for instance. They just have it in their head that they're either expensive or expensive to repair, or they're fast or whatever. So you'll just find that they might run into those type of issues. So like again, yeah, things like the small print breakdown cover. I know my wife had an issue when her own Leaf broke down, and it was parked up against the verge, so we had to get it lifted and put onto the back of the vehicle. So there was no problem with our insurance company covering that, but others mightn't. So the devil is in the detail, and other things like when we developed a scheme with the insurance provider that we talked to, as well as breakdown cover, we looked like things like cabling. It doesn't, you know, it's not a sexy thing, right? But if someone steals your cable, get damaged or something like that, it's still 200 or 300 euros. So at least we had an agreement with them and say, okay, they'd pay it out, and it's not going to affect your insurance policy because it's a small amount, and it also covers your liability if you're plugged in on a point on the street and someone falls over it. So just things like that we developed, and we I suppose we found ourselves as owners of an electric vehicle that issues we might have, and we were able then to go to the insurance companies, and we had to go to a number of them before some of the companies just thought we were talking double Dutch, talk about electric vehicles, didn't see where the market was going and didn't want to kind of move in it. But eventually we did meet with a company that were willing to listen to us, and it's worked out pretty well so far.
So let me know, give me an understanding. First of all, it's great to hear that you're an EV driver yourself. So a lot of people that are involved sometimes in the EV space can see the opportunity of making a bit of money, but don't understand whatever it may be, whether it be solar power, whether it be EV charging, etc., etc. Whereas you've got that. Number one, you've got the experience in the insurance industry, and even at the office, you've got a charger now installed so that staff can, when they're driving EVs, they can charge up. So it's great to hear you're doing that. So as an EV driver or a new EV driver or thinking about EV driver, what's the process, Jim, with regards to how I'd work with you, just so people get an understanding as to what's the first steps? Is it a phone call? Is it an email? Or where do I go?
Yeah, well, again, both. You contact our office. Our number's on our website, or there's a quotation submission form there. If you click on the website and click on quote, you can complete your details on that, and we'll get it. And one of our team will come back and they'll go through it with you. Like we're finding as well, Derek, that there's often a complication with electric vehicles, and that you'll find it's getting more and more popular, people buying vehicles through companies, or there might be a small company, for instance, but obviously with the BIK incentives that are there, and the company incentives that and I've seen there recently, I think the SEAI are allowing companies buy or get the grant for the chargers, I think, are they for did I see that?
Yes, that's right. This week it was announced,
Yeah, so like the incentives are there for people to buy through companies, but there can be a complication because you need to register the vehicle to the company and then maybe insure it privately. So like that's something we don't have any problems with, but a lot of insurers do, because there's a difference in title there, So
right.
so probably the easiest is to contact us, fill in the form, and one of our team will get back. But or even we've send us an email if you have questions about something you're not sure of. As I said, things like the registration of the vehicles and the cover. We'll always answer any questions that people have as well.
I'll stick the link in the description, and it's EVinsurance.ie, and you'll see it on the videos that myself and Jim have worked with and that have sponsored on the channel. It's the fact that you're Irish, the fact that you're family owned, the fact that you've got the EV. There's a lot of pluses here. And this is where when did the EV insurance, when did it start? That the actual company itself, or that section of Powers
that
insurance?
section, we're less than 2 years, so it's not it hasn't been going massively that long. I suppose it was a time that we'd been thinking about, we'd developing, obviously probably a couple of years in getting to that point, because developing the scheme and then trying to find an insurance partner that would work with us on it, and like we had to go through a number of, as I said, different insurers, and eventually find someone that, for them, I suppose it was a little bit of a leap of faith, and someone that will look at the likes of Teslas and say, well, they're expensive or whatever, to insure, to repair, and they had their concerns about it. But I think we were able to make the point that a lot of people driving electric vehicles, look after their cars,
investment,
and they have a different mindset, and the technology in a lot of these vehicles that are there now, either prevent accidents, prevent thefts, so I think they did kind of look at that, and we've just been working with them, then adding different covers onto it as we go, and we're trying to get different stuff done. We regularly review the covers with them, and try to get that. They've given us a system there this year where if you have your house insured with them, you get a discount off your car and discount off your house. So kind of combination discount. So that's worked out pretty well, and it can be a good save for both the house and the car insurance. So we're just trying to develop it and get the name out there, and hopefully get the support of the EV community, because I think it's the more people we can get covered, the better we can negotiate premiums with the insurance company. Brilliant. And that's kind of how it works,
You're great as well, Jim, with regards to keeping an eye on the social media groups, and when somebody puts up a question or a query, so you're in there straight away, and people will see Jim Power but not make maybe the connection with EVinsurance.ie. So it's great to see that you're hands-on within the community as well. And I know you're thinking about reaching out to the community, and we can ask people here now as well, if you're watching this video, leave a comment below. Jim will keep an eye on it with regards to ideas or things that you'd like to see, like you're saying, included in insurance packages or coverages. Because what would the plans be for the future going down the line, Jim, as well as getting feedback for the community? Where can you see the market going?
Yeah, again, it's maybe some of the additional covers we're talking about. It's something that the insurers haven't been mad about, but we're talking to them as maybe adding cover for maybe an electric scooter as part of your motor insurance policy. So where the market is going maybe is where as congestion charges come in, and maybe cycle lanes and stuff like that get more developed in cities, that maybe you'll be able to park your car and take out your scooter out the back for that last couple of kilometers, and can we arrange insurance cover for that? So we're constantly looking at areas, and in fairness to a lot of the guys in the Facebook EV groups, they were great for giving us feedback and help at the start where we're developing. Another thing I hadn't thought of was leased batteries. It's quite a big thing in the UK, not so much here, but again, it's some people I mentioned that Renault were doing it, and it's something we can get covered, because again, there's an insurance complication there that if you're owning part of the vehicle, but the other your batteries are leased, then if you have an accident or if the car is written off, who gets paid what, so the scheme kind of covers that as well. So things I wouldn't have thought of, they've given great feedback, so absolutely, if there's anyone, obviously everyone wants as cheap as premium as possible, I think that goes without saying, but other than that, if there's additional covers that we haven't thought of or anything they're struggling with, yeah, great, I'd love to get feedback on that.
Very good. My recent interview with Chris from EasyGo, because of the growth of the sector, and because he's on a recruitment drive as well, and I know that you're on a recruitment drive as well, Jim. So if you're watching this video and you're in the Midwest region, the Clare, the Glimmick, the Tipperary, anywhere around that neck of the woods, the North Corks, and you're in that space and you can see the opportunity here, and you'd love to work with a company the like of Jim and EVinsurance.ie, please reach out to him through the website or give him a call. I know that you're growing the team there, Jim. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It is difficult at the minute, getting people that are, qualified or have experience in the insurance industry. So absolutely, we'd love to talk to you. As I said,
very good.
That free charger is in there as well if you have an EV. Absolutely, feel free to use
all about the perks and the benefits. Very good, Jim. Very good.
Absolutely,
very good. Thanks so much for your time, Jim. I wish you all the success in the future. It's been a pleasure working with you and partnering with you on the channel. And as I mentioned, I only picked the partners on the channel that I think will benefit the viewers, and hopefully you found benefit to the partnership as well. As I mentioned, I'll put the description in the link below. It's EVinsurance.ie. You couldn't get it better. It does exactly what it says in the tin, and you can fill in the quote there if you go onto the homepage. But as I said, I'll put in the description. Jim, have a great weekend, and I'll hopefully talk to you soon.
You too, Derek, and thanks again for your support and for your encouragement with the EV insurance. Appreciate it.
Not at all. So I've been Derek Riley. This has been EV Review Ireland, part of the 30-day challenge. And remember, if you think an EV is for you, leave it to me and I'll review. Thanks for watching.